So it's been a while since I posted long since Pearls on the Strand. And so I thought I'd update you a little bit about what's been going on with UTADV. I did another Pacific Northwest tour, a solo one this time, and I met the legendary Wayne Kouf on this episode of UTADV. Hi, Eric Young, coming to you from a place near Estes Park, Colorado. I'm up in the Rocky Mountains, and we're up here camping. We're at HERMIT'S open space campground, something along that line, and it's just stunning. It's just spectacular. If you get a chance, I think it's off of Highway 34 or Highway 36, or, I'll clear that out down here. We're out here in the Denver area of Colorado to attend the Overland Expo, the Mountain West edition of the Overland Expo in Loveland, Colorado. We went to that yesterday and got pretty overwhelmed with everything that's going on there. Since we do both overlanding and ADV, man, we're just pulled in so many different directions there with everything that's going on. And I'm not going to talk at length about that really at all, other than it just blows my mind to see how that market has just gone bananas, and how many things are out there, how many things are rushed to market, how many things probably shouldn't be in the market, and how many things I probably couldn't live without. And what was really cool was going to the expo and going, oh, I'm okay without that, and I've got something similar to that, and my needs are taken care of here. I walked away with one piece of equipment, a little stool kind of a thing, but that was about it. But wow, it's like I said, it's a bit on the overwhelming side. So after the Pearls on the Strand ride, or what we also call the Great Divide Tour or the National Park Tour, that kind of thing, I really just kind of had a hankering to get back to the coastline and to do a ride similar to what Addie and I did as far as the Pacific Northwest Tour ride was concerned. But the main thing, though, a couple things. One, I wanted to meet up with some old friends, high school friends. And secondly, I wanted to get back to the Bay Area, a place where I grew up, and a place where the coastline, the Pacific Coast Highway there, it's a place that I love to ride, to see my friend Brian, and to then finally meet Mark Yolton, who was supposed to join us on the Pearls on the Strand tour, but fell ill with that terrible COVID-19. The three of us, Brian and Mark and I, did a nice ride out along the coast to Pigeon Point Lighthouse, and then up the coast from there, and of course Alice's restaurant. Food is always, a notch below the adventure, and sometimes it's a notch above the adventure in what it is that we're doing. But we had a great time. And then the following day, I was able to ride with Mark, or Mark rode with me from the Bay Area. We rode up through Stinson Beach and on up the California coastline to Manchester, California, which is just a little south of Mendocino, where we camped out there at a KOA. Before that, though, I made my way out on Highway 50 through Nevada. I camped out at the Bob Scott Campground, which is another unknown little jewel along Highway 50. It's just outside of Austin, Nevada. If you have a chance, if you're going that route instead of taking Highway 80 across Nevada, it's an easier route in terms of speed and wind. And it's a forlorn route since COVID hit. There's so many mom and pop stores and restaurants and things that have just shuttered as a result of nobody going on Highway 50 anymore. And then from there, I went up into the El Dorado National Forest, and I spent a couple of days there just to kind of unwind and kind of get my bearings a little bit with everything that's been happening in my life. So I stayed near French Meadow, and the campground that I stayed at is called Lewis at French Meadow, which is right off on the lake, if there was one there. There's still a lake there. It's just the water levels are so darn low as a result of the drought and other atmospheric and environmental conditions that are going on. But as I made my way to there from Highway 50, a couple hours of some of the best motorcycling road tarmac that I've ever been on. It was amazing. It was like running moguls as a skier, just constantly on your game going through there. And then shortly before you drop into French Meadow area, it's been wiped out by a fire. And there's this huge canyon that you descend and you go across this bridge and you come out the other side, and it was just scorched earth. It was quite a contrast to then dropping into this beautiful, pristine blue lake, and then and the evergreens and things around there. So I got in there on a Saturday. Let's see, yeah. And so Sunday morning I woke up, and the first thing I could smell was smoke, and then I could see the light that was hitting my tent was that smoky orange color, and that's not a good feeling to have, especially if you're on a motorcycle, and especially if you have nothing but 2 hours either way to get out of that area on very curvy road that is a little bit questionable at best there. So I popped out of my tent, looked around, and sure enough, smoke was in the trees. And the sun was that ominous orange, and the fire that was causing that was about 50 miles to the south of my position there in Yosemite, unfortunately. So I got a little nervous about that, but went and talked to the camp host, and she assured me that we were not in danger, even though everybody else in that campground was packing up and leaving. I decided to stay, and I took my this camera, and went out and walked along the shoreline of French Meadow. And in doing so, I was really struck more than I ever have been before in terms of the environment and the conditions that are happening with climate change. And I know a lot of you are like rolling your eyes right now. Is this the nature that our grandkids are going to call beautiful? You know what I'm saying? Is this the legacy that that's being left behind by us and by Mother Nature? And, of course, Mother Nature is going to come and blow all the smoke out and return everything back to its pristine condition. But I don't know. For me, it was something worth deeply contemplating and wondering, what other changes can I be making other than riding a motorcycle or driving a gas-guzzling sport utility vehicle to lessen my carbon footprint. And maybe it's time to trade the Rove in for a Rivian or something. Though I'm not there. It's just not there yet. It's just not going to happen. I got out of there okay. I got out of French Meadow fine. I spent the 2 days there and relaxed and worked on my bike a little bit, and just did things that I don't know how to do, which is taking it easy, basically. And from there, I went into Folsom, and from Folsom into the Bay Area, California, in Menlo Park, where I met up with Brian, and then met up with Mark and went on from there. So from Manchester on, I soloed it all the way up the coastline. Had a nice visit with my son and his partner, who made me this wonderful meal, and went on up then into Washington, and then I went out to the Olympic National Park. And then I went to Rainier on the Paradise side. I'm sure they probably have it taken care of by now, but if you happen to be going over Mount Rainier and trying to hit Highway 12 over the Paradise side, when I was there, there was a landslide that took out the road. So I had to go 3 hours around, get back out of Mount Rainier and go around and through Ashton and through that area and then made my way. And I made my way home from there. And it felt good for a number of reasons. One, obviously just the motorcycle ride, but two was I actually finished what I set out to do. You know, I didn't truncate the trip. And a lot of that had to do with now I knew what my window was, 10 days, really. And after that 10th day, I'm probably not going to function very well. But that felt pretty good to be able to go through and pull it off. Not long after, a YouTube and social media friend that I've known for a couple of years, or had the acquaintance with for a couple of years, his name is Wayne Kouf. I think I said Wayne Kouf at the beginning. Sorry, Wayne Kouf. And Wayne's from British Columbia, and he is an adventure motorcyclist as well, and is well received in that community. And Wayne is doing a trip, a once-in-a-lifetime trip from his hometown, his home area in British Columbia, running down to the tip of South America to Ushuaia. And along the way, I had the pleasure of being able to join up with him. Initially, I was going to ride my Tiger down. Wayne rides a Tiger 900. I was going to ride my Tiger down and maybe entice Addie to come down with me and ride the Shafer Trail in Moab. But like almost every kind of plan that I've made this summer, the night before we were going to Moab, they got this ungodly amount of rain in a very short period of time and washed out all kinds of trails, even inundated Moab, the town of Moab itself, shut them down for 24 hours. You know, they're pretty resilient down there, but that kind of changed our plans to take Shafer Trail on motorcycles at least, and so we decided to do it with four-wheel drive vehicles. So I brought the Rove down, Addie brought her Tacoma down, and we met Wayne at the JC Campground there along the Colorado River, not far from Wall Street, and gave him a little break from his bike. He'd been on it for 8 days and wanted a little less seat time, so he got to ride in the Rove. We drove the Gemini Bridges Road, which was still pretty passable. It was okay. Went to Gemini Bridges, and then we went up to Dead Horse Point. From Dead Horse Point, we could see through our field glasses that there were one or two vehicles who were able to traverse Shafer coming down from the top and then going down to either White Rim or to the Potash Road. So we thought, okay, we could do that. The Rhino would do that, certainly, and Addie's Tacoma would do that as well. So we went and mounted the trail and went down and not quite white knuckle. We saw some white knuckling happening with rental Jeeps coming up from the bottom. Dare I say, folks maybe who had no business being on that road in a rental Jeep. But we had an extraordinary time. The weather was brilliant. It was fascinating to see what the rain did and the washouts, the narrowness of that road. There were times when I was thinking maybe a full-size vehicle wasn't the right choice, really, for an overland vehicle. But the Rove did great. The Taco did great. We had a great time going on down. And then camped out and just really enjoyed ourselves. It was great to meet Wayne and to see how many things we have in common. The ADV types were a strange bunch, kind of cut from the same cloth, even wearing the same clothes. So Wayne went on from that area, from that point, and you can catch him. In fact, I'm going to encourage you to do so. I'm going to put the link here to go to Wayne's World Tour, and I think he's got 1 or 2 episodes cut at this point. But he went down to Valley of the Gods. He tried to ride Monument Valley, but Monument Valley now is closed to motorcycles and apparently to motorhomes as well. So there's another tip for you if you're planning on doing anything like that in the southern Utah, northern Arizona area, southwestern Utah, southeastern, southern Utah. Oh my goodness. Okay, so that's it. What's coming up next? And probably a couple of product reviews I'll get into, things that I used along both trips that either worked out really well or failed miserably. If you haven't subscribed yet, I sure wish you would. We're just trying to get up to that 1,000 subscriber threshold. And if you like what you see, you know what to do there. And if you haven't watched Pearls on the Strand yet, there's 3 parts to that. Give it a watch, would you? I think it's a fascinating story, and I think you will too. All right? Okay. So stay safe, shiny side up, all those things. Tread lightly, especially. Let's do what we can and kind of give Mother Nature a break. I think that would be a good idea. All right. Thanks for watching.